And where were you? What were you working with at the time?
For like the company,
Yeah.
so I was working for Live Mentor, which is a French company, basically an online school for entrepreneurs, like 3 months one-on-one formation with a mentor. Could be any kind of entrepreneur because it's like all around, like learning to use social media or building a website or all the like accountability and administrative stuff. Depends, you have like various formation. And my job was to mentor the mentors. So basically help them feeling good and doing good in their job. Same, I was also sometimes in contact with some entrepreneurs, mainly regarding insatisfaction, because obviously it happens. So like trying to figure out why is he disappointed, what's going on, what are the solutions we can put in place to make it better, if we can, because I mean, we also have like our way of doing things and a legal aspect to respect. But yeah, my job was to make sure that mentors and entrepreneurs were doing good during the formation.
Okay, very good. But you must have interacted with a lot of entrepreneurs during that period, and I'm guessing you learned a lot from them, even in terms of the business side. What were some of the big lessons that you learned throughout that journey?
That's a big question. If we're thinking really through like entrepreneurial point of view, I would say first of all is like just like start whatever project you have, just start and accept that it will never be perfect. And as we said just before, like start and start sharing and talking about it like with people around you. There is no way you're creating this like single genius idea that someone's gonna steal from. Like no, that like doesn't exist unless you're a fucking like scientific genius. And indeed, you have like this new formula, but like no one will steal your idea. Like it exists already somewhere before.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like you will have your way of doing it, but like 99.5% of the ideas and the projects that exist in the world, they're not unique, but they still work because as entrepreneur, you don't need to sell to like tons of countries. You need like a small range of customers for you to be able to pay yourself because of that. Thanks and that.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I would say no one's gonna steal your ideas. Just share, talk about it. Will help you like moving forward. So yeah, so start. Not being afraid to share. No one's gonna steal your idea. Being curious, like go talk to people, exchange, get information. We have more and more like digital entrepreneurs. Like real world and project and connection happen in the real world. Like go to events, go meet people. Like that's what also gonna like give you the energy to keep going. If you're always like alone in your room behind your computer, at some point, like you may lose the reason of why I'm doing this. If sometimes you go, you see like you create some connection, you exchange about like success, about like defeats and like failures, and like you exchange ideas. And you go for a beer when it's not going all right, but you have your friends there and you go for a beer and you talk about it. Like, yeah, just go out and meet people. Maybe people around this new area you want to explore.
Fair enough. There was a couple things that you touched on. You talked about a couple important traits that people have to do, certain habits that entrepreneurs have to stay mentally healthy, etc., etc. I was curious, you being a mentor, having worked in that environment for many, many years, I'm not going to say I don't know, I'm curious. Are you able, for example, to look at somebody, to get to know somebody and determine through specific personality characteristics or certain traits of a person on whether or not they could be a successful entrepreneur or no? Like, is there a set of characteristics like, oh, they have to be stubborn but curious but agentic, know what they want? Or is it like, oh, I've seen many entrepreneurs come into the business, they don't know anything, or well, it's normal not to know anything, but not have certain traits, and either they develop it or they don't develop it and they fail, or they succeed whether or not they have certain characteristics. Are you understanding what I'm trying to get here? Do you have any insights on that?
Yeah, I don't think there is like some people who can be successful entrepreneurs and some who can't. Like anyone, okay, mainly if you have like specific like mental health issue that I don't understand very well, but like who like stops you from like responsibilities or too much pressure or whatever. But if you don't have this, basically you can, in a way that I didn't say this the previous question, but maybe useful, that if you're going to start a project on your own, like get yourself mentors or like a formation or whatever. Like don't be on your own. And this makes it easier for anyone to be able to move forward, because obviously you're going to lack some qualities that can be useful at some point. Someone is going to be like not enough curious, then stick to the plan. Someone is going to be like going in every direction, doing tons of shit, but not the most useful one, or like whatever. And like this mentor facing you, or teacher, or like whatever you call it, is going to give you or like push you also to the part that you don't have. So like the point would be like, okay, anyone can do it, but find yourself mentors or classes or situation where you have someone who can balance with you and help you with the thing you're not doing. I don't know if you like commitment and regularity in the effort, maybe have like a buddy with who like you're literally like giving feedback on what you've done or what you're gonna do today. But yeah, finding those someones, probably several of them, to create the balance. But then yeah, obviously like curiosity, motivation, doing something that you like, would be like pretty useful skills
Right.
to start something.
Okay. What would be the more important characteristics or traits that entrepreneurs would need to either develop, or you see cause, or for example, the most common characteristics that cause the downfall of an entrepreneur, for example, especially a young one, for example, getting into and not knowing what entrepreneurship means, which was sort of another question, like what does entrepreneurship mean? So what are the characteristics that, I mean, you sort of answered that. If you just could name out a couple specific ones and then a couple negative ones, like it could, I know it's going to be along the lines of what you talk about, like, oh, he didn't go out enough, he wasn't curious enough, he didn't have any mentors around him, all those things. If you could just specify a little bit more, that would be amazing.
So among the good one, I mean, to my point of view, because once again, like probably there are tons of ways to be an entrepreneur and like be successful in what you do, but you need to be curious. You need to be like, to have like a deep motivation. That's not, I'm going to win money. You do something because you believe something good is going to happen for you and people around you. So this motivation is crucial. The acceptance of like losing and failing and being imperfect. I mean, this one probably like every age compare, like there is always this like, it's not good enough, or people are going to say this or this, like worst thing. Like accept that it's going to be imperfect, and like when you're going to look back at it like in 6 months, you'll be like, wow, did I really do this? Because you'll have like move on since then, but it's going to be the same scheme always. So yeah, not being afraid of like failure, obviously. Accept you're imperfect.
Yeah, that's really important.
I would say those are like the more critical, at least from what I saw.
Yeah.
You know, and people like struggling and what was the main question, it was a lot around those ones.
I mean, it even goes back to what we were talking about, the newsletter. Like, it doesn't matter if you start off and nobody cares or nobody tunes in.
And probably nobody will care at first. Like, I mean, that's the most like classic situation. First first newsletter, like, okay, who's gonna be there? Like, no one is waiting on you. So probably nobody will care.
Yeah, I find it ironic, even for myself. It's like, okay, if you're starting something out and you're like, oh, I'm afraid nobody's gonna see my stuff, but at the same time, you're afraid that your stuff is not perfect. It's kind of paradoxical. It's like, well, if nobody sees your stuff, nobody can say your stuff is imperfect. So it's only you judging it, and it's just you in your mind getting like stuck and staying in that place and not moving forward. I like that a lot.
Definitely. Once again, that's when it becomes interesting to have people around you who know what they're talking about, because they're the one helping you to escape this like vicious circle. They're like, no, take the exit on the left and publish this fucking text.
Yeah, it's like reaching exit velocity and you shooting off. And then one of the last questions I wanted to ask about here was, what are misconceptions about entrepreneurship? that people may have.
That
Things
is
that
gonna
they
be
might think is like, it's just clearly false. Like, oh, maybe it's easier, or it's supposed to be this, and in reality it's not.
it's wrong to say that it's gonna be like you're gonna regain your freedom and do whatever you want with your own private like time schedule, whatever. Like it is wrong because you're gonna like be in connection with companies and people who have also like time schedule and effort. So you'll have to deal with this too. It's not true that it's like easier than being an employee. I'm not sure it's true that it's more difficult neither. It would depend on the situation, how you feel at your job, what are your like qualities right now. Like, are you something that like comfort and like do your time but have like your time for yourself after that, or do you need like to be like super committed to a project and like be 100% and move from there to there, which is not that good neither, even to be an entrepreneur. Like keep 10-15% to do nothing and rest. But yeah, it's not going to be like more or less difficult. It's just going to be different. It's going to be way more complexity for you to deal with, because you're going to have like a lot of different jobs while doing this. Yeah, I would say those are like big mistakes we can think about entrepreneurship. But once again, like it's going to be very different for everyone. So just like go through it and talk with people. I mean, that's the best option you're going to have to learn and avoid the big mistakes. Like you start super high, you have like first customer, whatever, or big audience, because you got it ready for months. So you knew how it's going to work for like full months. And then you've got a bit this like in between timing where you don't know exactly, you don't have the same growth. And maybe you're going to lose a bit hope or say, okay, damn, now I'm becoming shit because I'm not having like, it's going to be like this and maybe it'll be like this, then like it's going to move every way. So just like be ready for that. There is not one clear path.
Okay, awesome, thank you. Do you have a certain relationship with like productivity? That's quite a common theme with entrepreneurs, like maximizing everything that you do. Like you said, work, nonstop, never take time for yourself. Personally, I know that you have a very interesting relationship with productivity. It's not, for example, mine, where it's like to-do list after to-do list, and I've also been changing that philosophy a little bit. Just explain a little bit yours to us, to me, to the audience.
Probably a few years ago, I don't remember exactly when or what, maybe we had decided to make peace with like productivity. I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. Like productivity is like, how can I do everything that I want in a limited range of time? Like it works for like your day, for your afternoon, for your entire life. Like you won't be able, doesn't matter how much productive you are, you won't be able to do whatever you can think about. Like that's human paradox. And then I was like, okay, so anyway, I won't be able to do everything. And I know the best thing that I've done, or the thing that I do the best and that I'm the most proud of, is when I do it not being under pressure, like you need to finish now or you need like to do this. It's like when I go and I'm like for the newsletter, like no job, no time schedule, no whatever. I do it because I like it and I feel it's the right way. So I try to keep this for my private project and ideas and whatever. And when I was working, obviously you have to deal with productivity. Like some people are waiting on you, projects are waiting on you. And at this level, I was like, okay, what's the best that I can do? Okay, I can be efficient. So I can like try to find a way to focus, to let my phone out of range, to like not eat a double burger at midday, so I'm not digesting, laying down for the whole afternoon. But I was like, I'm doing the best that I can with what I have now. And no, I'm not going to try to explore like 10,000 new productivity strategies. I've done it at some point. And I was like, okay, what's for? Like, what's the use of this? And it wasn't that useful in the end. So yeah, just trying to make peace with it. Like, okay, I want to make things. I want things to be done. I want people to be happy with what I've done. But I can do it without like trying to become the fastest guy on the planet.
Fair enough.